Hi, it's Jane with the Compassion Project, and I am here today with Cindy Jensen. Say hi, Cindy.
Hi.
I am so excited to be here with Cindy. She's actually a sister of one of my best friends, Joanne, who I love. So I'm honored to have you here, Cindy. Cindy lives in Edmonton, Alberta. She has been married for 37 years to her husband, Jeff. That's amazing. Love it.
Yeah.
She has she has two grown children, Ashley and Sean, and she has three grandchildren, Ava, Beth, and Juliet.
Mhm.
Cindy is beautiful, kind-hearted, friendly,
Mhm.
fun, and passionate about helping people become the best version of themselves. She's a certified career professional and life coach and always strives to be in a service of love and compassion, which is amazing.
Mhm.
So Cindy's goal is to transition full time into life coaching after she retires. And she's
Mhm.
currently working on a website and an online course for women longing to grow in their faith and in their
Mhm.
joy, creating connection, which is incredible. I
Mhm.
love that, especially the Compassion Project. This is about creating connection. And we're going to talk about, yeah, how you're doing with this crazy pandemic and social
Mhm.
distancing, and yeah, and hear more about your what you're working on. So, how are you doing?
I'm doing really well. Although I certainly have my ups and downs, and there's been a couple things that have happened which surprises me. Like I would be working on something, and then I'd take a break, and I'd watch a silly TV show, and then I'd start bawling, and I'm thinking, "What's up with that?"
So,
Like it doesn't make
where, where
sense.
where were you when you first found out about it, or like when you first realized this was a big deal?
Oh, well, it became a big deal when we were asked not to come back to work. We were told, it's we're going to all work remotely, and that
Wow.
was a challenge. I learned computers as an adult, so for me to have to learn WebEx and learn, well, that's what we're using in our organization, but I made really good friends with the help desk, and they were so patient with me, bless their hearts, because things like that, well, I'll say they're a challenge for me. They're less of a challenge now, but a lot of it was my mindset and my attitude toward it. It was, I'm never going to get this. I need somebody to show me. I can't figure this out. And then they say, okay, relax. We're going to talk you through it, breathe. And then
Yeah.
it dawned on me, this is what I teach in some of the workshops. I got to apply some of that message to this situation.
Right, which is actually really good, right? Because sometimes, and I think quite often, we can teach things, and
Yeah.
then when it comes to ourselves, we're like, we have to be able to do it ourselves. But what job are you working now? Like, what is your, like, where are
Well,
you working?
I work in a rehab center for injured workers who can no longer go back to their regular jobs. So they're
Oh,
dealing with the grief of losing their job, and some of them love that job. That's all they've ever done. And then they have to figure out something else, and they struggle. Some of them don't know computers or do very little. So again, it's being compassionate and understanding that they got to change their whole lives. They've got to upskill. They've got to learn how to function in maybe a different environment. And there's nothing easy about that. It's hard work, but
wow.
it's so worth it. It's so worth it. So for me, I really believe in helping people deal with the mindset and their emotions around that as well. So that's important.
So you must notice that a big change in people losing their jobs during this, do you?
Yes. Again, there's lots of the economy has changed tremendously, and again, certain jobs that used to be really out there, like hospitality. Again, we know a lot of hotels have been shut down, a lot of restaurants have been shut down. So what happened to all of those individuals who, don't have jobs, or their jobs are on hold? And that's difficult, and sometimes they have to look at different options or gap options for this time. And that is not always easy, nor is it fair, per se. But
Yeah.
again, we don't want to get stuck in um, it's not fair, because, well, as we all know, life isn't fair. you
No.
know, and trying to make that fairness it doesn't help you. No.
No, I know. So you've had to go at home, you've adapt to working full time, and that's not easy because then you have to schedule yourself at home. So much easier when you go to an office,
Oh,
right?
yes. Yeah. Well, there's advantages to both ways. Like, I like getting up and I'll put on a nice top, but I've got jean shorts on right now, which I like.
That's the
But
bump.
again, you know, there's I will say there's lots of advantages to working from home, but there's lots of disadvantages. And the isolation for me, who loves to connect with people, um, it's been challenging doing this over the computer. I'd rather be sitting together with you in your living room or in mine, and having a coffee,
It's learning to connect in a new way. So, how about with your family? Like, what's happened? Were you able to see your grandchildren and your kids, or how have you been dealing with that?
Well, for a while we sort of stayed at home, but then because I live on an acreage, I'm blessed to live on an acreage, and they can come out here and we can social distance very easily.
Oh
So,
yeah, that's good.
again, they can come out and ride their bikes freely, and play in the yard. My daughter and I can sit on our deck and we can chat, and so that has worked out fairly well.
Yeah. And what about your mom? I know your mom is not well, right? Isn't she's in a care facility? What's happening with her? I know how much you
Well,
love her.
I do. I love her so much. I haven't seen her since the COVID. They've locked it down. I
Oh,
know Joanne and I, as soon as they opened up the opportunity to set up a visit where we could meet with her outside, um, it's taking so long to get that scheduled. Joanne and I, it's been a week and a half, almost 2 weeks now, and we still haven't heard. I know Joanne's checked a couple times. It just hasn't worked yet. So it's sad. I miss her, even though she doesn't really know us. She has dementia, and she doesn't know us, but just to hug her and love on her, it's.
and you know what? Cindy, I feel like she might not know you, but she knows you. Like in the
Mhm.
heart connection, right? Maybe
Yes.
not here or recognizing, but there's that invisible connection
Mhm.
that we have. So when you're there with her, you feel it. That's so hard.
It
I can.
is. It is. And I think that she just needs to be touched and hugged, and but I must say I have been in contact with the home, and she's doing very, very well. She was checked for COVID once because of she had a sore throat and had some symptoms, but it was just a cold.
Okay.
And they do let us know regularly what's going on, and she's doing very well. And they always say, "Oh, well, we love Karen. She's just so sweet."
Oh,
So, I always agree. Of course, yes, she is. She is a beautiful soul. I've been blessed to have her, and she's been a great example in my life of what
oh,
it means to give and to love others. Um, she's been tremendous in living that life.
yeah,
And yeah.
that's amazing. So, and how did you get involved in doing life coaching? Like, what's happening with that? Your created
Well,
website, you said.
I've always been fascinated by understanding people and understanding that we are all desperately unique. We and we don't think the same way. We have a whole history of experiences that have led us to have belief systems that are different from each other. So I'm fascinated to find out, why do you think the way you think? Why do you how did you form that belief system that maybe is different than mine? And I love a grand discussion, even when we don't necessarily agree. I'm just curious. I want to know more because um, I think our uniqueness is, I don't know, is so fascinating.
Yeah.
And, I think the only way we can um, get connected is by learning more about each other.
Yeah, I agree. And that's even me. I've talked to so many people now with this compassion project, and I think it's so interesting because we're so much alike as humans, but like you say, the way we're raised, everything makes a difference. And I think a big part is the early years, those young
Mhm.
years from birth to 7 years old, where you're programmed in a way like from your environment, and and then so we're
Yes.
all so different. And then yeah. So where did you go to life coaching? Like, you're certified? Where did you take that?
I took it through the Christian Coaching Institute, and I did that because it aligns with a lot of my belief system. I am certified though to coach with all kinds of people, whether they share the same faith or not.
Yeah.
And the basis of it, which I loved, and it's not that I am going to talk to you and tell you what to do. Life coaching is all about asking you questions so that you can find the right answers within yourself. When I ask questions, they're challenging questions that ask you about your values and your beliefs. And then sometimes getting you to think of a perspective outside of maybe something that you hadn't thought about. And I've had the privilege of coaching um, quite a few people, and the results have been tremendous. And sometimes I am amazed at the process.
Oh,
It is
wow.
inspiring. And you come out of there and they're telling me, Cindy, you rock. This is amazing. And I'm going, I just asked you questions. You did this. It wasn't me. You did it. And they're going, really? Well, I guess I did. And I love that. To me, when people find success and they find that they're helped through the process, it's the beautiful gift. Like, they get a gift, I get a gift. What a beautiful thing to do. I could do it every day because I love it so much.
You can tell that you love it, and it's the right path. It's the right thing for you to do because even when you talk about it, you can tell that you get joy from it, which is what we all want, right?
Yes.
Make a difference in other people's lives. So yeah, I think that's amazing. I wonder. Hmm?
I was just going to say, it also is such a beautiful thing that we as women don't always get. And when you get an hour to just talk about you, I don't talk about me in this coaching session. It's like you get a whole hour where someone is totally focused on you, and you get to explore and have the opportunity to maybe deal with something that is hard to deal with, or you just can't figure out on your own, but you get that whole time to just allow yourself to explore, and it's all about you. And when you think about that, as moms and wives and workers, it's always about someone else. And so often we don't get that time to just work through things for us. So,
I know. Women are so busy. And I think we almost, most of us are born as people pleasers, making sure everyone's happy, like making sure the kids are happy, making sure the husband's happy, making sure everyone's happy. We want the peace. And
yeah,
so I think that's beautiful to be able to sit with you and share your own story. Yeah, that's incredible.
yeah. And I love that. Share your story. Like, have we taken the time to explore what's our story? And we all have a beautiful story, and we've all been through tough stuff. Like, I mean, I used to think, well, I've been so blessed, I really haven't had it as hard as other people. But when you go back, most of us have been through a death. Most of us have been through maybe more than one. We've been through moves. We've been through losing friendships because they move away. Like Joanne, she moved away and met you, Jane, which was a good thing because then we've connected. So that's beautiful too. But again, we've all been through the roller coaster of life, and we have a story, and figuring it out, and then saying, you know what, I am pretty strong. I do have a lot to share. I could help other people by maybe sharing those times when it was hard.
Yeah.
That is another passion of mine, is that I think we as women, we just want to tell the good stories where we were successful. And I think sometimes we need to tell the stories where we failed and had to get up and try again, or the stories when we, like during this COVID, I've gained 10 pounds. What's with that? But life happens. And I have to admit, I'm not perfect. I struggle with the same things everybody else does. But now I've got to pick myself up and get back on the right track. And I might need a little help from some of my friends, which sounds like a few of us could chat. You look beautiful, by the way, Jane.
Oh, thanks. It's nice.
Yes.
But I think a lot of people did put on some pounds. I mean, it happens because there's that whole stress, uncertainty, and women. I'm not taking men out of this, but women, emotional eaters, turn to food. And someone said once, I read or something about children are soothed with food.
Yes.
Right? Oh, you hurt yourself. I do this with my grandchildren.
I'm bad for that.
And it's like, oh, do you want a cookie? Like, oh, you're crying. And so we as adults, we're like, we feel upset or emotional. It's like, want to go to food. So that is learning how to handle your emotions and not go, turn to food. That's another topic. We could talk about that. Would you ever consider doing a coaching live, like the session, so people can see it, like with me or someone, the way you do it?
Yes. The thing is, I would say we could do it. It probably would not deal with any real tough things, right? You'd want to, work on it in a way that is, on something that's not as personal,
Right.
and just being aware that there may be some limitations because it is the confidentiality, some things you don't want to bring up a group of people, but that is definitely something we could chat more about.
I know. Then people could really get a feel for how it works. It would be interesting. So how are you coping in the way of when you're feeling stressed or whatever? I know you have a really high faith. Has that really helped you through this? I find a lot of people are getting almost stronger, their faith. What about you?
Absolutely. It has become a major priority for me, more so than it was before. And I'm just going to be vulnerable here that, I didn't spend as much time as I should focusing on my faith. Life got in the way. That's not an excuse. It is just what happened. But what I'm finding now is that for me, it's my belief says that God's got this. God's got this under control. This whole global pandemic, He understands what it is, and I don't have to try and control my world. I mean, I'll do what I can. I'm big on social distancing. I'm big on washing my hands and all of that. But overall, I'm just trusting that God's got this, and He will give us that peace and that joy that there's nothing better than just trusting that He's going to work this out for our good. That's really
agreed. Well said. That's amazing. And I think it's important. All of us are digging deeper and having faith because there's so much uncertainty, right?
Yes.
So,
and really, my whole point is, why do I have to have such tight control of certain things? you know, let- God wants us to be happy and to be joyful and to trust Him to do the right, to give us and help us discern what is the right thing. And, it's like being a mom, right? When your kids move away, when they go to school, you're releasing your heart to somebody else to look after. And I
And
know yeah, you want to protect them and you want to keep them safe when really they need to fall down and they need to experience life. And
I
my
know.
heart breaks when they do. But
It's when we fall and when we struggle that we learn the most. When you
oh,
look back in your life, you can actually look at those times and be like, wow, I was in such a bad place, or I like the move for me here was terrible. Never even thought I was someone that would ever fall in depression. And I look back now and I had to go through that to
mhm.
dig deeper and learn more about myself and come out of it stronger, right? So,
And I have found that in the last little while, I'm a very compassionate person, and I have had to learn that I need to hear them and I need to listen and I need to feel compassion for them, and then I need to give it back to them. I
yeah.
can't take it on. I can't try and solve their problems. I just need to say, I love you. I'm here for you. And let's talk about strategies to get through it. Let's talk about, what will work for you personally.
Mhm.
But I need to give it back to you. I can't take it on because that is one of my one of the things I need to work on
Yeah.
more and more
Not take it
because
all on. I know.
you
Um, so is there anything else you want to add or say to anyone? Because we're definitely going to put your website, if you have your website, in the comments or where people
I
can
don't
reach you.
I don't have it yet, but I can definitely put my email if you're interested in chatting or possibly setting up, a life coaching. I
Yeah,
am still working full time, so I am limited, but I certainly would love to chat with people you know, and meet them. And if there's a way that I can be of service to them, that would be great.
that sounds amazing. I'm just going to put this up because it's probably Joanne. We'll say hi. Hi, Joanne. She's probably watching.
Hi, Joanne. Love you.
Okay, well, we will sign off. I appreciate you so much coming on. And when you do get your website up, we'll just put
Yes,
it in the comments then, and people can
yes.
have it, right? And we can always pop on and do another one. I'm pretty open. I'll talk about a lot of stuff if you want to try me out. I've been through a lot, trust me.
It's
Okay,
been
thanks,
my
everyone.
pleasure, Jane. And I just want to say this Compassion Project is a beautiful thing, and you're doing a beautiful job. And I want to thank you for your gift back to community and my one of my soul things is connection with women and an honest, giving, loving connection, and you demonstrate that. So I
Aw,
say
thank you. That's so nice. Thank you. Okay, bye.
bye now.
Thanks for watching.